Good evening. My name is Jana McGuire, and I am in the Healthcare Administration and Leadership Program at Nebraska Methodist College. I am recording my graduation capstone presentation here in my kitchen at home due to the coronavirus pandemic, so I am very hopeful that my dog Toby behaves himself for the next 12 to 15 minutes. The first thing I want to talk about is my public issue project, and what I chose to focus on was the growing ethnic geriatric population and the increased need for cultural competency in healthcare. And what I really found was that the ethnic older population in the United States is growing very fast and is expected to reach 16 million in the next 30 years. And that includes 18% non-white Hispanic, 12% Black, 10.7% all others combined. The Hispanic population themselves is expected to grow to 15 million people by the year 2050. And the ethnic older person has the same challenges and issues on aging that everyone else has. And so it becomes increasingly important for the healthcare provider and healthcare administrator to appreciate and accurately understand not only other languages, but other cultures. By doing so, we can hopefully enhance the patient-provider communication, improve patient satisfaction and safety, improve the accuracy of a diagnosis, prevent unnecessary diagnostic tests, give the ability to obtain true informed consents, and decrease hospital readmissions rates. And how I propose to work on that, I will do by the tools that I have learned throughout the Educated Citizen curriculum at Nebraska Methodist College. And the purpose of this curriculum is to become a competent practitioner who is an engaged citizen who responds productively to the complex dynamics of the world, utilizing a diversity of disciplines and perspectives. And the first goal within this is to become an effective communicator. And that goal means that you use critical thinking to generate, connect, and organize ideas in a written, oral, and nonverbal manner. And my first reflection about being an effective communicator, I find it very ironic, was when I first had to do my first recorded video presentation, and now I'm recording one for my graduation, and I found it extremely difficult, and still do. And so it was for an introduction, only needed to be 3 minutes. Took me about 45 minutes to record, and the first time I watched it, I was mortified. I thought it would be easy. I've talked in front of groups a lot. I've been a manager for many years, and I could not believe how terrible I sounded and how many times I used the word And I still have trouble with that today. And it made me really focus my desire to learn better ways of speaking, focus on public speaking, focus on ways of giving pauses in my communication so that the listener can absorb what I'm saying. And it really made me understand the importance of verbal communication and perfecting that. And so that was my very first experience. My second experience, most recently, really left me humbled and a little embarrassed, and that had to do with the discussion board. And anybody that knows me knows that I have not been a fan of discussion boards. I really didn't understand their purpose, and I will be honest to say that in a lot of the courses, I would look at some of the people as naive, young, inexperienced, much younger than I, obviously. And those are the discussions that I usually would stay away from. And so this last fall semester, one of my responses was from a girl who was graduating, and she just wanted to thank me. She told me that she had watched for my discussions throughout the many courses we had together, that I was able to put the topics into words she could understand. I could put real life meaning to the text, and that she really thought that I helped her learn in a lot of her courses. And that experience really made me understand that when we talk about communicating with others, we're not just talking about culturally or ethnically. We're also talking about genders or generations, and we need to make sure that we are able to communicate with all people, regardless of their age or where they're from. And so that was something that really we need to think about. And so the second goal of an educated citizen is to be a reflective individual. And this person routinely engages in habits of inquiry that influence a way of thinking. And the first one was really kind of simple for me, and it was in my world history course that I didn't want to take. And it was because it wasn't a course that had to do with healthcare administration. And I didn't really want to do anything that was outside of my major. And so I took that course, and it really influenced my desire to learn and to research, and opened up my dialogue with my husband, which was great. And so that really presented to me the importance of other subjects within your education. Now, spirituality and soul searching, that I could go on forever, and I don't have enough time with that. I will say that course, though, if it's not, it should be required of all students at Nebraska Methodist College. It came at a time for me that was necessary for whatever reason. My father had passed away shortly before. I thought it was going to be just me defending my Catholic religion, but it wasn't. It really was looking at all people, their spirituality, what was really inside of them that helped them to face adversity, to face different challenges in their life that they needed to get through certain situations. Things like our patients will have, things that we need to know that to help our patients get through situations. And I will tell you that course, by far my favorite course of all of my courses, and I would take it again if I could. The change agent goal is one where a person uses a discipline of the liberal arts and sciences to analyze historical and contemporary situations and systems to develop cultural competence and to take appropriate initiative to affect change. And my first reflection was really just when we were becoming a patient-centered medical home, and our desire to take better care of our patients, which is always one of our desires, but we also needed to take care of our staff and realize the effects of our staff happiness overall on our patient satisfaction. And there was a task that was being performed, that really was a dissatisfier. It took a lot of time. It was a painstaking task, and I could see the effects on our staff. I could see them doing a poor job, and I could see that there was potential for an adverse outcome. And I had gone to our director of the medical home and really got nowhere. And so I needed to continue challenging this and look for alternatives, do some more research, and really be an advocate for our staff so that we could change the way we were doing things to make sure that that this was a way that we made sure that our staff was doing what they needed to do and our patients were being taken care of. And the last reflection really has gotten to me to where I am today, and I'm not really sure why, but everything happens for a reason. And it really started with the death of my mother-in-law in 2019. She fought a long battle with cancer and dementia. I saw the effects that took on my husband and his family. She was very angry, very mean, verbally abusive, and I saw it beating down my husband day after day. And he reached out for help, and there wasn't any. And unfortunately, She was not a patient with Methodist, so there was nothing I could do to help. My mother-in-law could not advocate for herself. My husband tried, but there was no one to advocate for him. And she really, unfortunately, died a very painful and agonizing death, and it was unnecessary. And so I knew at that time that I needed to do something. And shortly after her death, I was asked to be part of an initiative for Methodist Health System to become recognized as a age-friendly health system and to open up a geriatric clinic. And so that's what I did. I worked on that for a year, and we were able to do that successfully. And we were recognized in the end of 2019 as being age-friendly and for our care of older adults. And so we went to spread that around the community, and I went and talked to the director of the Intercultural Society in Senior Center in Omaha, and she talked about how great of a job it was that we were doing, but what were we doing for the ethnic adult? And I didn't have an answer for her. And so shortly thereafter, we got our assignment for our project, and I knew that my public issue was to be an advocate for cultural competency for the ethnic older person. And what that looks like, I don't know, but I know that I have been thinking a lot about that, and I know that that is part of the Educated Citizen curriculum, is to be a thinker. And with this COVID-19 pandemic, I think about the patients that are now in social isolation or because of the visitor policy or ill in the hospital and do not have family or caregivers with them who can speak on their behalf. And so cultural competency is even more important. And so what this looks like and what my career holds for me, I do not know, but I am very thankful for Nebraska Methodist College and the direction it has given me. And I appreciate your time in watching my video. Thank you.